Hey, this is Jason with 4W Knives. Project today is going to be taking this leaf spring and turning it into a draw knife. Draw knives are used for various things, but primarily for like stripping bark, thinning wood down. The guy that I'm making it for makes bows for himself, and he uses it to shape the wood and to trim it down to size. He wants it to be 8 inches long, and he wants it to have a curve. I've made one draw knife a while back out of Damascus, and it turned out really well. It was straight. I don't have a lot of experience at it, but they're pretty straightforward. This being a curve might add a little difficulty to it. He wants one with a curve, so I'm going to do 2 of them out of this 5160 so I can see how it works, see anything that I need to improve upon, and then I'll do one out of Damascus for him. This is just over 0.20, I think it was like 0.22. So I'll thin it down a little bit, stretch it out, flatten it, and then I'll show you the rest. All right, getting this piece of leaf spring into the forge was a little bit difficult. It was just almost too big. But if I held it just right, I was able to squeeze it in, took it over to the roller mill, and got it down to a good workable thickness. There wasn't a whole lot of hand forging involved in this, just mainly straightening it, but I wanted to get a video of me using my new hammer. Once again, still one of my favorites. It just so happened that this metal ruler that I had was the perfect size for what I wanted to make. He wanted the blade to be 8 inches. This is 12 inches, which gives me 2 inches on each side to use to attach the handle. I just used the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel to split it in half. I did not cut on the lines. I decided to grind to the lines, and I used the cutoff wheel to get it to the length as well. Brought it over to the 2x72 using the table rest and got it good and square all the way down to my previous mark. My initial plan was to do one that I got down to a nice finish, a good satin finish, and the other one was going to be the forged look with hammer marks and everything in it. Neither worked out quite like I had hoped. I'll have to change a few things, which I'll mention later on. At this point, I'm putting in the curve near the blade handle transition. I had to get rid of any of the hard edges that I put on there using the 2x72 grinder and the cutoff wheel, just to make sure I didn't have any areas that were weak spots. Once I get both sides equal, I then will take it back to the 2x72 and start to put in the bevels. All right, so here I'm putting in the bevels. Bevels on a draw knife are what is called a chisel grind. Chisel grind has a bevel on one side and it's flat on the other. All right, here's where I do last bit a little forging. This is where I wanted the forge look. Ended up not working out very good. I ended up grinding off most of the dimples that I put into it, so it was a little bit not worth the effort. This is the first one that I've done with a curve. Most of the time on any other knife, if I want a curve, I take it to the anvil as you see here, and I swing it until I get the desired curve. I needed this centered, which added a couple of challenges, so I went from one end, would hammer it for a little bit, and then I switch it to the other end. And I think I did a pretty good job of keeping it centered. I'll have to come up with a better system just to make sure that I keep it square. At this point, I'm just using 2 hammers and flattening it out. And after that, I need to put the, we'll call it a tab, and I'll use some vice grips and I'll rotate this up or twist it up to where it points in the right direction so I can add the handles later. All right, after getting the tabs twisted to the appropriate spot, I heat treated the knife, which I did not show, but I went through my normal heat treating process, ending with a temper, and then I took it to the 2x72 where I do my finish grinding. So at this point, I've decided that I have to do a couple of things differently before I make the next one. Biggest one is that I need to do the majority, if not all, of my finish grinding prior to twisting these tabs, because once I got them twisted and heat treated, there was almost no way to get inside around that twist to get an even finish throughout the knife. So right where the handle transition is, it has scratches going in different directions, and it just doesn't look as good as it should have looked. But I'll make that change the next time, and I think it'll be a huge improvement. I thought maybe using the wire wheel and putting it in some acid might help get rid of it and kind of get the finish where it was all even. It didn't work very good. I ended up sanding most of this etching off, and I did some bluing on it, which helped a little bit. I'm using this just to demonstrate. This is prior to me doing any hand sanding. It ended up working pretty good. I'm no expert at it. In fact, this may be the first time I've ever used a draw knife, but it cut through it pretty easily. It was not positioned exactly right, but it ended up working. All right, here they are all finished up. Top one is the one that I gun blued with the forged finish. Bottom one we'll call a satin finish. Both of them have the inconsistencies at the handle transition that I spoke of with the finish. The handles I had done by some friends that have a lathe. I thought they did a great job. I'm still waiting on the other set of handles to show up. I know this isn't your common knife that a lot of people see, but I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you like the work that I did. Thanks for watching.